Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PokerGO pre-show. We are live here in Las Vegas. You forgot to turn the sound off on your computer, didn't you? See, we've been doing these all week, and then here we go. Remco's got to ruin the last show. No, I'm getting kind of emotional, man. This is our last pre-show for Poker Masters. It's been so much fun being here over these last several days as the best players in the world have gathered here in Las Vegas to compete for the Purple Jacket, the title of Poker Master, and, of course, a whole pile of money. We got a lot of cash floating around today.
Yeah, we got a lot of cash going back and forth at the table today. The stacks are extremely deep, so please pay close attention to this pre-show because it's going to be a long night, and you want to get caught up on all the information on these 6 finalists. If you're watching through Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, please leave us some comments. Give us whatever likes or shares. I don't even know what all this stuff is called.
Dislikes, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you don't like Dave Farah, you can just hit the dislike button. But anyway. Thank you for joining us. Leave us comments. Leave us all that good stuff. Share the stream if you enjoy it. And yeah, we're going to get you ready for that final table.
Yeah, and so if you want to watch the final table, of course, it's all happening over on PokerGO. Over 100 days of live poker every single year on PokerGO. And all you have to do is simply follow the link that's right below us, and then it's going to take you to PokerGO. You enter that code that you also see right down here, Master17. You're going to get a discount on that annual pass. It's basically the price of a coffee every single month that you're going to get PokerGO for, and it is a fantastic deal. If you're a fan of poker, whether you're casual or hardcore, a little bit of something for everyone. Now, Poker Masters is a unique concept. It's original programming, just one of the pieces of original programming that's available on PokerGO. And Remco, obviously, final table is here for the 100K event, which is serious money. And like we said, some of the most exciting and best players in the world are on this final table. But let's talk about how we got here. We had 5 days of preliminary action, $50,000 per day for people to get into this, and then $100,000 for the championship event. We're talking about guys that have invested potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars to get here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can see on the screen right now, 5 events culminating in this 5th event, the 100K freeze-out tournament with no re-entries allowed. That was allowed in the 50K, so we saw plenty of players fire $100,000 in each and every one of those events. So for some, this final table might be the best way to get all those investments back. We played at 7-handed tables the entire time. We have a 30-second shot clock, and of course, the player with the highest total dollar earnings at the Poker Masters takes home the Purple Jacket, and the race for the Purple Jacket could not be any more exciting.
It's very much alive right now. We'll dive into that a little bit, but let's talk about some of those earnings as we've been going through events number 1 through 4, which of course are the prelim events. Here we go. Event number 1, taking a look at the winnings here. Nick Schulman took that down, $918,000. He bought into the 100K event. Unfortunately for him, flamed out very quickly.
Yeah, Schulman had a good chance to win the jacket here at the Poker Masters, but he did bust out very quickly from the 100K. However, Stefan Schilhabel, who finished 3rd in the first event, Stefan Sondheimer, who finished 4th in the first event, they are both still in the tournament at the final table of the 100K. Nietzsche, Aldemir, Mateos, and Negranu round out the payouts for this first event, and that had us starting out with a very exciting final table, and that sort of also set the precedent for what was to come.
And here we are on to event number 2. Once again, almost $1 million up top here, and Sondheimer, who has had a tremendous run throughout all of this, $900K in the pocket here.
Yeah, Sondheimer has been absolutely unstoppable here during the Poker Masters. He beat Fedor Holt's heads up, and that heads-up battle might turn out to be crucial here for who takes home the Purple Jacket at the end of tonight, as Fedor Holtz is one of the top rivals at the final table today for that Purple Jacket, as Sondheimer and Holtz are both at the final table. Additionally, Christian Christner, who finished in 5th place, also at the final table of the 100K. He was there as well for event number 2. So as you can see, there is a lot of consistency between these final tables, and some of these guys just had an unbelievable run, and all the praises to them.
3rd out of the 4th preliminary event is something like this. Bryn Kenny took down $960,000 here, so a big score for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryn Kenny, however, also had a very, very unfortunate day in the 100K, getting knocked out in the early goings. Jake Schindler, who finished 3rd in this event, made the final table yesterday of the 100K. However, he finished outside the money. A quick note on this tournament, you don't see the name of Stefan Sondheimer. He finished on the money bubble, so he did, however, make the final table, but because it doesn't count in this way, he is not on the list because he didn't cash for any money. However, he did make it to the final table, so that was 3 in a row for him.
And one more preliminary event to take a look at here. This is the final one. Little bit smaller prize up top, but still over $800,000 here.
Yeah, the biggest score of Brandon Adams' poker career came in this event for $819,000. He's been back this year on the high roller circuit, and this was a huge win for him, beating Doug Polk heads up in a very epic match. It was a lot of fun to watch. Justin Bonomo here finished in 4th place. He as well at the final table today of the 100K. And there he is once again, Stefan Sondheimer in 5th place, making it 4 in a row at the final table, of which only 1 he did not cash. And then today he is back. So he's 5 for 5 making the final table, and 4 out of 5 finishing in the money.
How can you watch all of this go down now that we have arrived at the final table? It's simple. Just subscribe now to PokerGo. Again, you get a discount on that annual pass by using that code that's right below us there, Masters17. And if you actually want to subscribe, very simple, there's a link below us. Now, the events, of course, over these last few days, there have been a lot of fireworks, lots of back and forth, some great table chatter as well. Those video highlights from number 2 of the 100K championship event, those are coming up next. This is the PokerGo pre-show from the Ivy Room at the Aria in Las Vegas. We'll be right back.
J'aimerais embrasser ce garçon, mais je ne sais pas comment lui dire. Apprends-moi, 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 apprends-moi. Commence par lui faire les yeux doux. Commence par lui dire qu'il échoue.
My friends ask me what it's like to play with all the top quality poker players, and are they nice people? And I go, you know, it's kind of like they're all going to a petting zoo. I'm the cow. And afterwards, they're all going to a steakhouse.
The jacket actually being the trophy, it's important that it not just be something that looks like fast fashion or looks like something that is like, you know, in vogue now, but like if I'm a winner in 2029, I should still say, wow, I may actually take that out of the case one day and actually wear that. It's that important to like create something that's that timeless. It has to be something that when you put it on, it's like, wow, this is really elegant. Like when people think of the best things that winners in sporting events receive, it'd be great for them to mention this jacket. That to me, it's like, there's no better story than that.
Welcome back to the PokerGo pre-show. It's Dave Farah alongside Remco Renkma. We are in the world-famous Ivy Room here at the beautiful Aria in Las Vegas. It's great to be with you today. And Remco, of course, we always appreciate the people that are watching and giving us comments and feedback. And there's actually a piece of feedback coming from the YouTube page, somebody talking about the tournament structure. Actually called them ridiculous. Again, totally entitled to your opinion, but I'm curious your thoughts on what the poker pros have been saying about how these tournaments have been structured, because they did make a comment about how the 50K prelim events were very fast, but how did that lend to the action, good or bad thing? What do you think?
Well, for us mortals, everything about the Poker Masters is ridiculous. Like, the buy-in is ridiculous, the Aria is ridiculous, Ivy Room is ridiculous.
We shouldn't be allowed in here, actually.
We should not be allowed in here. No, the fact that we're still in here is actually ridiculous. So let me get to the structure of these events. These guys love to compete at the highest level, and they love to get as much volume in there as possible in a short span of time. Every single player I've spoken to said, wow, this is exhausting, this is exciting, this is exhilarating, and also a lot of fun. So they love the fact that they get to compete at these stakes in a fast-paced structure for those 50Ks, and then, of course, a more slower structure for the 100K, which, of course, is a freeze-out tournament. You know, don't get this the wrong way, but these guys play at the highest level no matter what the structure is. If they get one chip to play with, they will still find a way to play that one chip in the most perfect way possible. So for your entertainment and for their enjoyment, this is the perfect setup to get so much action in such a short span of time.
All right, so let's talk about how we actually got here, because like I said, there have been a lot of highlights, and we'd love to show you the entire thing, but in order to get that, just simply subscribe to PokerGo. Again, promo code right below, discount on that annual pass. But let's show you some of the action that we've seen leading up to the final table, which is where we've arrived at today at the bottom of the hour here. In about 30 minutes from now is when we're going to go live with the final table of the 100K championship event. But there have been fireworks, and Phil Hellmuth, of course, always offers up a lot of entertainment when he is at the table. Unfortunately for him, this is how the end came in day number 2 of the 100K championship event.
You and I were both a little bit surprised at the number of people that busted out on day 1.
Yeah, they were flying.
Especially given that they each started with 200,000 in chips.
27.
The levels are an hour long.
Yeah, the amount of people that busted did go over like what I thought it would be.
Here comes the flop. Oh, a queen right away in the window. Leaves things looking very grim for Phil Hellmuth.
Payouts a little top heavy.
Jack means 2 pair for Rast and a draw dead situation for Phil Hellmuth.
Good luck, everybody. Good game, Phil.
Yeah, we're not going to get any kind of poker brat with that. Phil knows he only had 5 big blinds, and of course Rast is going to call him with a hand like Queen Jack.
So there goes down Phil Hellmuth, and Daniel Negreanu also got eliminated yesterday. We'll actually show you that moment here in just a second. But the reason I bring up those two so close together is because Daniel Negreanu joined us here on the set yesterday during the PokerGo pre-show, and he said some things about Phil Hellmuth. And Remco, you continue to poke and prod a little bit and ask him some follow-up questions, and that created a giant S-storm on Twitter. In fact, they were arguing for about 6 hours last night on Twitter, and it was quite delightful to watch.
Yeah.
Frankly.
It's one of those things where Negreanu has said multiple times he loves Phil. Phil's a great guy. Phil's like a really nice person to hang out with. However, about his own poker game and that of the other players in these events, he said, and I quote, that he's delusional about the way he can be portrayed in these tournaments, and he said he's still the 1 seed in any of these events. However, Negreanu said that's of course not true. It's far from the truth. And if you look at public perception on Hellmuth's playing style, then it becomes very evident that he plays in such a different way that doesn't really go hand in hand with how poker is being viewed here in 2017. And it goes without saying that the Germans have had so much success over the last couple of years that their style has proven to be the #1 style right now. We're not talking about 20 years ago. We're talking about 2017. And Negreanu and Hellmuth had a huge back and forth about the ROI, the return on investment in these tournaments, and even talking about that the Germans aren't the greatest players, that he is still the greatest player. Negreanu took the side of the young kids. Hellmuth still stayed in his own world. And I don't know, the word delusional, I'll leave it up to you guys.
I will say this, that at one point Phil Hellmuth said, "Oh yeah, name a player or some players that can beat me," and Daniel fired over a list of about 40 names that he thinks can beat Phil Hellmuth. Either way, Phil did fairly well in the Poker Masters event. Daniel obviously also did well, and it's interesting to see the dynamic between two top pros, but both have now been eliminated. Daniel Negreanu also went down yesterday. Let's take a look at that moment right now.
Is that too much to ask? Ace 7-3 rainbow.
I'm sure that there's no
No, yeah, rainbow black. Well, it can't be rainbow black. Just all black.
Let's go for black.
Yeah.
So here comes the flop. A queen right away in the window.
Black. Yes, I got some black. That was what I wanted, right? Oh, but the queen, not the queen. We didn't want the queen.
Jack of spades.
Yeah, it's a good card to return.
Deuce, a 5 and 2 spades dangling out there for some runner-runner possibilities for Daniel's ace 10.
Black. I asked for all black. Let's see what happens. I shouldn't have said black, because black is cards that pair him. I should have said hearts.
How about you just ask directly? Ace.
He did. He asked for ace 7-3 rainbow, but that's not what he got. And now it is the ace that he needs, and the river is a 5, pairing the board.
Well played.
Cheers.
And that is it
That was
for
no
Daniel
fun. I didn't win any
Negreanu.
hands. My bluffs didn't work. My calls didn't work. I got outplayed, and I got unlucky.
So both Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth getting their cards in. They're short stacks with the best of it, ace high. However, both got crushed on the flop, both get eliminated. And of course, we did see big shifts in the chips yesterday, and Fedor Holtz has done very well for himself. We'll actually show you how he stacks up compared to the other people on the final table here momentarily. But this was a significant hand. It was Chidwick and Holtz, and this is a big clash. Let's take a look at another highlight from day 2 of the 100K championship event as we head towards the very first Poker Master.
Steven wants to see a flop with his hand, but he's not sure if he wants to play a huge spot out of position with Fedor, but second and third in chips. Deep enough for plenty of play.
It's that fact that they are deep enough and they have plenty of play, though, that as we see Chidwick flop real big here,
So did Fedor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Straight flush draw for Chidwick. Second set for Fedor.
$105, the bet from Fedor. Very wet board. And Chidwick electing to just call as you see Fedor sizing him up.
That's a blank.
Yeah, real clean card for the set of jacks.
I think this is a spot where Chidwick knows he's behind. He knows he has a lot of equity, but he doesn't want to play an all-in pot against what likely is just...
Now, as pretty as Chidwick's hand looks, let us remember, if he does hit the straight with a 10, he's got the bad end of it. If he does hit the clubs, he's far from nut clubs, unless, of course, it's the 10 of clubs. And after he flat calls, it comes to 3 of spades, another very clean card for Fedor with almost $1 million in the middle. Could Steven ever talk his way into a fold there instead of a smooth call?
You know, you might be onto something, because even if he makes those hands, then he's first to act on the river. If you lead out, are you going to get paid? If you check, is he going to bet for you? Tough spot.
And are you good? Third 9 would be no good. Another 8 would put Fedor straight out there. Can't really get any value.
We know a third 9 is no good. I mean, if a third 9 came on the river, there would have been some fireworks.
I think Chidwick would figure out that 3 9s were no good. If he were to lead or check raise and have Fedor push back with another scoop, can't see him calling.
No, I'm not saying he gets all in, but he does lose a catastrophic amount of chips. At this moment, he's hoping Fedor checks back with like an ace-10 or an ace-king.
Fedor uses the maximum time on an extension. $275K. Relative to the size of the pot, it's a small bet, but in looking at the 720,000 Chidwick has behind, it is huge, and Steven will be disappointed not to have been able to do anything more with.
Thank you to everyone that's just joining us here on the PokerGo pre-show. It is great to be with you. We have plenty more highlights to show you. And if you want to subscribe and watch all of the action go down, it's very simple. Link right below us, and also a promo code to get you a discount right below us too. Masters17 is a promo code. Just go to PokerGo.com, punch that bad boy in, and you are off and going. Now, Remco, on that clip, we saw the little timer up in the left-hand corner, and normally it's a shot clock that lasts for 30 seconds. But we also saw that one running well past 30 seconds, and another little Amazon coins clock down below. Explain what's going on there for people that are going, I thought you only had 30 seconds.
So you have 30 seconds per decision in this tournament. That's like pre-flop, on the flop, turn, and river. 30 seconds every time you get a fresh 30. However, if you need more time for any given decision, you can throw in one of your 3 time bank chips you receive per day to get an additional 60 seconds to make your decision. So it's still going to, go pretty fast, but you have at least some extra time to make your decision on some of these big pots that you're playing in. And, they needed one in this hand.
Yeah, speaking of big hands, Chidwick and Christner mix it up here. Let's take a look as we head towards the first 100K Poker Master. This is the championship event that's rolling on right now. Today is the final table, only a few players to go, and this is how we ended up getting there.
Yeah, it's not even close to my stack, but I smiled. But that's what you sound like, saying the pots with all the chips. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters. It's like flypaper when you put all the beautiful cash in the middle. Let's see. If I have 8-9 of hearts and I could think to myself, what would be a great flop? I feel like 7-6-5 with a couple of hearts would rate right up at the top of the list as Chidwick has the redraw to the flush with the nuts right now.
And you've got two opponents with straight draws. One with a pair and a...
Well, that looked like crap, so we're going to stop watching that, and we're going to move on to another hand. Brian Rast got eliminated, and let's take a look at how he went down. Again, the 100K championship event is what you're watching the highlights of. This is from day 2. Today, live action for day 3.
Go to 26,000 and Rast 3-bets it. Go on before we lose our train of thought.
And Phil says if someone spends 10 million in cash for 24 million, the other guy spends 7 in cash for 23, who has the better ROI? And it ends with Heralibus. I've been gambling my whole life, Phil, not cashing endorsement checks. I know what ROI means.
Yikes.
And then Daniel got in there too, but we'll save that for later. Got a big confrontation. It's likely going to end up with both of these players all in. Thunderdome scenario, 2-man enter.
1-man leaves. Bonomo moves all in. He's got Rast covered. Rast is going to make the call, and it's the most classic of races pre-flop. All in. He's king against 2 queens. By the way, these tweets could possibly be coming from 35,000 feet, as I believe Phil at one point tweeted after busting out that he had headed straight to the airport and caught a flight to Wisconsin to help his father celebrate his 80th birthday. King high flop as Bonomo out flopping Rast's queens. Uphill climb for him now. 3 kings now for Bonomo. Rast still needs one of the 2 remaining queens in the deck. Can he hit? He cannot.
Good game, guys. Good game.
Bonomo knows that that's just a function of the hands that were dealt. Seats were swapped. It would have been the same deal.
All right, Remco, we're going to actually bounce back to that hand that we were just watching that started to look like every hand does to me after I've had 3 glasses of scotch. But we're going to join it halfway through because we had to chop off a little bit of it because it was a little bit blurry there at the beginning. So where are we going to resume this one?
Well, just to give some context to this hand, this was a hand that could have really swayed how this final table was going to go. This clash between Chidwick and Kristner was, you guys will see the clip, was so important that if Chidwick would have won the hand, he would have had a huge chip lead at the final table. However, things went the other way, and that really put Kristner in a good position to now do some damage at the final table today. And the one thing I want to emphasize is how classy Stephen Chidwick is all the way throughout this process. We have another hand with him coming up later in the show. This guy is all class. He did not get any cashes during the Poker Masters this year. However, he remained his composure. He was very well-spoken and soft-spoken about all the decisions that he made, and he looked back on a very, very fun series is what he said himself. So a lot of respect for him, but things didn't go his way.
Yeah, and we're going to resume this hand. The flop is down, and that's where we'll pick it up.
What a dream spot for Chidwick here.
Interestingly, Goose just chooses to get away from it with the 9-7. Pretty disciplined stuff there. And the turn is a 3 of clubs as Kristner picks up the nut flush draw to go with his open-ended straight draw. There will be blood. seen a lot of players employ this technique where they use the time extension when they're incredibly strong and the action is on them. Wow, he moves all in.
Covering me, right?
Very tough decision.
Well, there's 903,000 in the middle, and Krishner has 568,000, which is what it'll take to call. All the clubs are good. 9 for a chop.
What a sick hand.
And sure enough, Krishner makes the call.
He's going to see the bad news. He needs a club. Any old club will do.
You surprised at all to see Krishner make this call? 568 is a lot of play left to it.
Yeah, I mean, people like to gamble.
And here comes the river. It's the king of clubs.
Wow. Brutal spot for Stephen Chidwick.
That was a sick hand. So you flop the nut straight, and then you also have the possibility of making a straight flush, and you don't get there. Instead, on a runner, your opponent gets there, makes that ace-high flush, and crushes you for a hand that changed the entire dynamic of that final table.
Yeah, I spoke to Christian Krishner after he made the final table, so about an hour after this hand played out, and he sort of seemed, dumbfounded by what happened in that hand. He is known as one of those robots. That's how his friends call him. He is the robot. He is the machine in the game of poker. And Krishna told me that he had no idea whether he made the right decision. He probably is looking at all his calculators and his GTO machines to find out, what the correct decision would have been. But he seemed very, very confused as to whether this was the right play or not. So it's interesting to see that even the best players in the world can sometimes second-guess themselves after the fact, despite the fact that they've won the hand. So he was almost, I guess, I don't know, embarrassed might not be the right word, but he was almost embarrassed about the fact that he got it in like that and then still managed to win. And, as I said before the clip, Chidwick, you just no expression whatsoever.
Just stone-faced.
Yeah.
With like you said, about $1 million worth of equity in that single hand. That's some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have saved this trip. He had no cashes prior to that, and also it could have put him in a great position to do some real damage with direct position on Sondheimer and Bonomo there at the final table. However, things went the other way.
Coming up in about 10 minutes from now, we will be getting to the final table of the 100K Championship event, and the entire thing ends today. Our very first Poker Master we will have by the time the action wraps up. You can watch it all go down over on PokerGo. And again, if you want to subscribe, there's a link right below us, and there's also a code right there on the screen, Master17. You get a discount on your annual pass if you use that code. Now, a couple of more eliminations to show you. Jake Schindler, he went down yesterday in day number 2 of the 100K event. Let's take a look how that happened.
Shalabel's got 2 5s here.
And with Schindler just having 11 bigs and Shalabel having 87, I think you're going to likely see an all-in.
Indeed. Shalabel putting Jake all in, and Schindler had to have understood that this was a possible outcome. Makes the call, and we'll have 2 overs against the underpair. 306,000 chip pot. About an 11% dog heading to that flop is Jake. And we are on the official final table bubble. Technically, it's at 7 players. Could this be the moment? Two threes and a 6. Pocket 5s. Looking pretty good.
Jake's got 6 outs.
And Jake with a rare smile. Here comes the turn card.
You get a 4.
Another 6. Schindler needs an ace or 7 to win, but a 3 and he would chop.
3's full of 6s.
River is a king, and that's it for Jake Schindler.
And so there you have it. Schindler goes down, but he has had a lot of success in previous events, especially ones that are put on by Poker Central and PokerGo. High stakes events like in the Super High Roller Bowl had a very nice run there.
Yeah, Schindler has been doing so well in the last couple of years. He had his biggest score of his career this year at the Super High Roller Bowl, finishing in 2nd place. So no cash for him in the Poker Masters. Another little nugget here, Stefan Schellhabel is at the final table. He finished 3rd in the Super High Roller Bowl. The only one missing, Christoph Vogelsang. He's not here. He won the Super High Roller Bowl. But yeah, still a lot of top performers in the tournament.
Now, we were just talking about Stephen Chidwick and how he got crushed in that hand versus Christner, and unfortunately for him, there has to be a bubble boy in every single tournament, and to make matters worse, after that brutal beat, he also ends up being the guy that just misses the money. Here's how that went down.
Does not.
He said hearts like there was some...
Just the way it just looks sexy.
Oh,
Doesn't actually
stop.
matter for poker.
Look at this, Chidwick going to call all in.
Giving you a chance to get away from
With Jack 9 suited, he had just 151,000 in the big blind.
Yeah, but with
I
big
remember
blind and
that-
ante
that feeling for that one, especially.
and small blind, it's 30, 28, 35,000 around. 35,000 is a lot when you've only got 151.
Whenever I
Gotta find a
see
hand and
you,
go with it.
I never see you winning all in.
In all likelihood, Chidwick was going to be the man everyone leaned on and waited on, with such a big gap between him and 6th place Chips. And there's some sweat.
The tables have turned. Now he needs a queen. And only a queen.
Good. Because now I just have to hit your card.
Just think, Chidwick was chip leader. And lost that big pot to Christner.
The ace-8 of clubs. Well, hold on. Add some 7s to the outs board up at the top of the page as an 8 rolls off on the turn. And Chidwick needs to hit a queen or a 7 on this river to double up, stay alive, and avoid being the man on the bubble. Dessert.
The Zynga Poker perfect hand.
Yeah, we were going to play to the end of the level or until we lost one more player.
So there you have it. That is the highlight videos of the eliminations that we have seen so far. Remco, we also saw some other big names that went down in day number 2, though, right?
Yeah, no, it was sort of a short day in the sense that we started with only 14 players. We lost Dan Shack. That allowed Byron Kaverman to come in as the 14th player to sort of balance the tables again back to 2 tables of 7. But then we still lost a lot more players like we saw in all these highlight clips, but also additionally, Dan Smith and Ben Tollerine were also sent to the rail. So, you know, so many big names are out, so many big names are still in. It's like a never-ending thing.
And we have about 5 minutes until the action starts live over on PokerGo. Again, very simple. Follow the link right below us, and then you can subscribe. It is just a couple of bucks a month. You can watch all of this great poker action over 100 days of live poker programming that happens every single year on PokerGo, including great original programming.
Absolutely. We not only have, the live poker action that you crave and that you want to watch, both, from 2017, but also from years prior. We also have a lot of original content. So if you want to learn more about who these players are, watch all those pokerographies. If you want something casual to watch on the Sunday afternoon, watch Poker Nights, which is a really, really funny comedic series with Chris Parnell. If you want to dig into some prop betting action, Major Wager with Joey Ingram. That's also really funny and entertaining to watch. And then additionally, which I will highly recommend today on this show, is Dead Money, the series about Matt Berkey getting ready for the Super High Roller Bowl and the story of his life, which started at sort of a dark place, and then he found himself playing in the Super High Roller Bowl and making the final table. So all that must-watch content is being produced for you at home. If you subscribe, you can watch all that stuff. Support us, support you. That is sort of how it goes.
All right, so let's take a look at how these chips are stacking up as we head into the final table of the 100K championship event as we head to our very first Poker Master. Event number 5, Fedor Holtz is leading the way.
Yeah, let's start at the bottom of the counts, though, because Seth Davies is one of those names that many people might not recognize.
You've been saying it throughout the entire pre-show, the whole run of these pre-shows, that he's a killer.
He is definitely a killer. This is his first event at the Poker Masters. He did not play in any of the 50Ks. However, he is a World Poker Tour champion, winning the event in Montreal last year. Davies has been around for a long time. He is best friends with Jason Kuhn, which, of course, is not a bad guy to have on your side. And he is the short stack. However, short stack means absolutely nothing in this format. He has 50 big blinds to play with, so that is a ton of chips. Then moving up one spot, Justin Bonomo, followed by Stefan Schilhabel, and from there on out, it is only Germany on this list. Stefan Sondheimer in third, Christian Christner in second, and then Fedor Holtz in first. Of course, those stacks are all just one re-raise removed from each other. If Schilhabel re-steals one time on Holtz, they're basically all level.
All right, so Daniel Negreanu is specifically rooting for a Bonomo or a Davies win, though. Why is that?
Yeah, so the prop betting action is made so that Negreanu doesn't want any of the guys that he has bets against to win this tournament, because then he has to pay them out.
He forks out $50,000 to any one of these guys other than Davies and Bonomo, right?
Yeah, then he has to pay them more than $1 million, because at 20-1 they bet $50,000 on themselves to win the Poker Master jacket. So the overall standings is where we're looking at for the jacket, but also for Negreanu's prop bet, which of course is a huge pay difference between first and second. If you're playing heads up for the jacket and you're playing heads up for the difference between first and second on the regular payouts, and then you also have Negreanu's prop bet, then there's a lot of money on the line and a lot of prestige.
All right, so if you had to handicap this, and you said, looking at these chip counts, because as you mentioned, they're all very even going into this final table that you're going to be able to watch here in just a couple of minutes over on PokerGo, how do you see this playing out? I know it's difficult to predict, but do you have any predictions as to how we're going to see things shake out with so many high-name and very high-caliber pros competing in a big event like this?
The one thing that I'm worried about, this is a very sincere worry, is that if Fedor Holtz and Stefan Sondheimer end up all in against each other, the universe might explode. Because these guys don't lose all-ins. Like, we've seen it all the way through this week, and we've seen it from Fedor for many years now. I don't know how it's possible that any of these guys are going to lose. Yesterday, not a single German player was eliminated from the tournament. Today, we're going to have to lose some of them because we're going to get down to a winner. So I'm predicting a very, very long and slow burn at this final table, a lot of high-level poker play, and then at the end, the universe might explode.
It's entirely possible. But one thing that we know for sure is that cash is going to be handed out. Let's take a look at these final table payouts right now. Up top, over $1.5 million.
Yeah, like sixth place, almost feels like pocket change considering how high the stakes have been all the way through this week with $180,000, which is what all 6 players are guaranteed at this point. Then we go up to 216, 324, and then, of course, we hit $500,000 for third place, and then 864 and $1.5 million for first and second. That, of course, means that they're playing heads up for nearly $700,000 when they are getting down to the final stages of this event, and that can also have huge implications for the jacket, because however Sondheimer is the favorite, we can still see the other guys win as well.
It's going to be a lot of fun. The action is starting here in just a couple of moments. All you have to do is click the link that's below us, go subscribe over on PokerGo. You get a discount on that annual pass. Over 100 days of live poker every single year with your subscription. It's all included original programming, tournaments like this. There's old school tournaments like Poker After Dark that you can watch, both brand new episodes as well as old ones. So a little bit of something for everyone, Remco.
Absolutely. That is the beauty of the product. You know, I said this on one of the prior shows. What I do usually on the weekends when I have some work to do, I pull out the iPad, I plug it into the wall, and then I just, you know, watch PokerGo endlessly. I just click through all the episodes. I watch the old Poker After Dark shows. I watch the full broadcasts of Super High Rollerball from this year. You know, those are like 12, 14 hours long. I just have it on in the background. I might miss a few hands.
You know what the beautiful thing about PokerGo is? It's no matter if you want it on your iPad or if you want it on your computer or on your phone. If your girlfriend's going to make you sit on the couch and watch some stupid show that you don't want to watch, it's a great second screen experience as well.
Or if you're sitting next to Dave Farah and he wants to watch a stupid show, then you can
Gossip
also.
Girls is quite a show. I can't miss an episode. You know that.
I'm watching PokerGo right now as we were doing this show. I got to stay entertained. That is the way
Am
to
I
do
that
it.
boring? I'm that boring.
He
Okay,
is that
that's fine.
boring.
All
But
right.
one thing as well, you know, that's the cool thing as well. You know, iPad on your mobile devices, on your laptop, but also, you know, you can pull it up on the big TV with all the devices that are available. This is all the technical stuff that I know nothing about, but it is possible, and that is the best way to
It's
consume
like
this.
magic. It just shows right
It just
up.
is. It's just right
just
there on the big screen.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being with us for another installment of the PokerGo pre-show from the beautiful Ivy Room at the Aria in Las Vegas. Action is starting right now over on PokerGo. Subscribe. Watch it all go down. Today, we are crowning our very first Poker Master. Remco, always a pleasure. I don't know what that was about. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching the PokerGo pre-show. It's a good high five.